welcome to my shop. It's windy and cold outside, so I'm in the shed now. I'm going to attempt to make a holder for the seed packets. And now I'm going to decide on how tall I want this. So it's 5 inches deep, but then I want on the end a rounded up piece to make a handle with. So first I'm going to cut off this knot. Got a square here someplace. Five, 6, 7, let's say. So that's the bottom. And so that'll be my 5 inches depth. I'll go up on a 45. Not quite good enough, is it? It'll take something to make an arc. Something like that. That'll work in the end. Then I'm just going to cut the other end out of here. 7 and 2. There we have that. This saw wasn't working that great, so I better wear a pair of safety glasses for this one. Bandsaws tend to wander about, and so in the end you need to cut close to the line as possible without going over the line, and then use a belt sander to sand it down perfectly on the line. This is a stationary belt sander I have here. I've got this backboard so that when I put this against here, then it is perfectly perpendicular to the surface of the belt. Now, that's the end pieces. Now what I'm going to attempt to do is cut a notch out of this top part so that where the handle will fit down into. So it is a total of 38 millimeters wide. So if I divide that by 3, 36 is 12. So let's go 13 millimeters in from either side. So that's the plan. Let's see if we can do that with the bandsaw. Looks like I'm going to have to do this portion with a handsaw. I'll take this one. First off, you need to cut in where you want the notch to end, otherwise when I get down there I'll be spalling it off what I don't want to have a go on me. There's that part. Now I'll do the other one. Now I need to shape the upright for the handle. This one goes in here and moves freely, but I'll need to make it round on the bottom and decide on how high up I want it to go. So the handle should be about right there. So here. So what's this distance? That's 4. Let's make it 5 inches. Fairly easy on this to cut 5 inches. When you line it up with the 5 there, you're cutting off 5 inches. So I need 2. I'll need 2, 1 for each end. Back over to the belt sander. This doesn't have to be perfectly round. I'm going to smooth off some of this rough pieces first. That'll do. I have this dowel. He's just barely long enough. But long enough is all I need. What's going to happen is that the handle is going to go in here. This dowel is going to go down through. I need to put a hole in the 2x stock that the dowel just barely fits into, and a hole big enough in the handle so that the dowel is loose so the handle can turn. The handle in there. That's about where I need to put the other one, but I need it a little bigger than this. Now we take our dowel, it spins. Grab the hammer once again. There! Now when I'm done, I'll have a handle that can turn to either side. So the plan is to have it 2 feet long. So I'm going to cut these. I have 6 of them. I'm going to cut them all 2 feet long. Make sure I have at least 2 that are perfectly the same thickness for the bottom. And put 2 on the bottom and 2 on each side. Then I'll have my basket. Now with them cut and sanded good enough for my liking, just put 2 clamps there to hold them up. These are the side ones. Maybe I should do it a little bit up from the bottom. Maybe that 13 millimeters. I'm going to put some glue on there. Red nail it. Make sure it's in the right position. Now, I'm going to separate them by the thickness of this board. Like so, and these are the thicker ones for the bottom. I think I'm going to put a thin one in the middle like this. I got some over there. Now when that glue dries, that'll be nice and solid. need to measure now is across this way, from the outside of that to the outside to outside of those notches, 23 inches. That's how long my dowel for my handle needs to be. Now I had taken these uprights for the handles out again because now I need to put a hole in the top that this dowel will barely fit into. Before that, I'm going to do some sanding. Be back in a minute. So I rounded off the tops of those a little bit so it's not a completely sharp edge. And on the dowel, I made a little chamfer around the top so that it'll go into the hole. I've adjusted my drill so that the very fine tip of the bit just goes down into the hole here. So I've gone down and put a mark 3/4 of an inch down. That'll leave me with 1/4 of an inch up here above the hole. Now the hole's not all the way through, but in the center it is. So I can turn it over. And then I don't get the breakout on either side, and I've got a nice guide to line it up on the second side. Now back over here, as you can see, it's fairly tight. Now push that through there, that one through there. Whatever he does, make sure they line up before that glue starts to dry. Okay, now that fits down perfectly. There's my basket.